rising higher property value, rate reduction, process program did not address the underlying issues that forced eviction of squatters, created tremendous growth in homelessness, families, and individuals struggle to live outside the homeless population, bringing them into open clash of the course. Underworld police corporate block has been begun drafting a bill to legalize vagrancy, forcing the homeless groups into more clandestine areas of the city to create commerce. High government has been ineffective in solving this growing crisis. Thus, the plan the United States ought to guarantee a right to housing that solves the Republic homelessness crisis. Here's to the galactic saga. Structure 14 in the galactic saga. Galaxy's inhabitants fight together in unity. We all urgently require the granting political rights to the hunters that lurk in the underground to rescue our galaxy. The right to speak your mind. New ideas ignite. The homes are being desecrated by the debate on Coruscant. Inhabitants, especially along the Tuan, and all species are being pushed to the floor. The Senate has become corrupt. Everyone deserves rights. Make sure every being in the galaxy has a place to call home. Now, the role of the ballot is to dwell in productive science fiction. As Dave Filoni once said, it's a galaxy far, far away, but it feels relatively close. It can feel very familiar. It's a familiarity that you connect with. Everything in debate is storytelling. Order imaginaries are conservative realisms, but our countermapping can escape white a priori legitimize narratives. Another one, a culture of survival, unified discourse of tradition. Survival does not occur in the order of imagery. Represents a proxy. The story represents proxy. Stories neither information nor subjective verification. Telling stories escapes historicism. The concept of universal history by the world liberated from it. Opposed to the integration of non-Western cultures. Narratives quest the culture with the competence to form history. A priori legitimize common sense history. The difference between chaotic occurrences and order tests. Foreign texts are embrace opposition to the universals. Western philosophies can be formulated, break into the space of narrative. So we're not circulating common sense. The Peter has proliferate collisions. That means form over determines the content of narration as it impacts the way we frame and tell stories. Now, to the content of the form is demand for participation in a universe that has no appeal, while propagating coherence and unity of narration. Narration is a form that rejects authority. Culture may utilize which transcultural messages can be transmitted. It can be transmitted. Narrative is an a priori content which we can only imagine. And how the media spatial task can be narrated in various ways. It is rendered coherent by the rational meta-narrative. The truth of narrative is interrupted when events see their authority to represent media to form for determine the content. Opening a new space of conflict opens the possibility of altered perspectives. Our deployment of science fiction can't be cooperative. Rather, it's a process of scenario planning to survey colonials, classic constructs of empire, a discursive readers. McDonald, 14 connotations around fantasy are more than theoretical for close. They are neo-colonial spaces such as anti-cognitive, over ideology, eco-discussions, and anthropological discourse. Sci-fi is cognitively valid. This is understanding an entire literary genealogy. SF did in the best case an impossibility does not mind confusion that forcing SF on the text makes a more valid analytical context with it. Western discursive spaces rather text right against parallel exists remain dominated by Western episteme of future and empire, offer a possibility to decenter and make more valuable academic spaces by safe academic discussions of SF from its own technical relationship to empire. Science fiction increases information policy, processing, and influences real world attitudes toward minorities. Black anti-inflation exposures related to increased judgment through impossible as possible related to the way we make judgment. Official narrative requires suspending the here and now, engaging with fiction, think about what it could be rather than today's research. These empathic attitudes towards martialized and self-constant and empathic concerned individuals are more open-minded. Now, our imagination plus new futures and distrust networks of colonialism of early 70 nuclear waste has different possibility. White man never referred to the past but only the future. White man didn't understand that he had no future here. The past does not die. The past is alive side by side with the present dismissal of a decolonial future. History of colonial rhetoric and possibility doctrine that governs the practicality of returning to Indian controlled land. The power of a wide-defined realism and each colonial movement will require a counter-realist political strategy. Apocalypse redefine reality against colonial norms. Use apocalypse to trigger the present. Rewrite a different kind of prophecy. Unimaginable destruction includes the impossible, the implausible, and the incalculable. Situate us as inhabitants of an impossible world, one in which the United States does not last. Apocalypse or revolution. Decolonization is inevitable. Now reject racialized appeals to policymaking. Their epistemology nationalizes anti-blackness. Middle 23 proposes a traditional policy contend that the mechanism of reactive resolution is necessary to make a predictable traditional policy debates over representation debate is not neutral, but informed by racialized discussion. The words are disputed to describe fiat, yet none of the words in any given resolution can be described. It's meaning hypothetical imagination. A team could read a plan and then describe the absence of arguing, read a plan as a metaphor. These would technically conform to the resolution and reveal it is not the words that render unpredictable, but a commuted norm. Fiat is an arbitrary inclusion. When this is taken into consideration with our point, the topic selection and resolution wording is in itself worded by informed by racialized processing, new conceptualizations of class become necessary. Scholars are also address social movements not as a noun, but a verb. Movements are not clearly delineated phenomena, but instead are processes that impact the world through rhetoric. The question is what moves the social. Taking critical debate seriously thus requires reconceptualizing how we approach social change. Revenue enables scholars and debaters to consider complexities of social change in more nuanced ways. Interdisciplinary result can eventually occur outside of policymaking.
Okay, good for boss.
Yeah.
Oh, Austin, did you get through everything?
Not the last card, but I think it should flow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So science fiction, what determines what it is?
I don't think we have to isolate a clear bright line for what science fiction is. It just is an order to
Why does it have science fiction?
If you let me finish my question, I might be able to answer your question. The affirmative is science fiction. The entire advantage is about Star Wars and dwelling within Star Wars, enabling a right to housing within Star Wars. We've read a wealth of evidence about why that is necessary to solve the homelessness crisis inside the Galactic Republic.
Is there any methodological offense from the affirmative?
I think it's bankrupt to say that methodology can be separated from the way we implement the app, i.e. the way we frame and tell our stories is intimately connected to the way
you
they are
get
implemented.
offense from this framing and telling of the
I think the affirmative operates in the same way that a policy team would read scenario planning good. scenario planning good can be offense against a critique, but it's not an independent win condition per se. We still gain an offense for the advantage.
Okay, the advantage, what's the impact?
Violence. We read arguments about how economic dispossession impacts trillions of people inside the galaxy. It results in bad forms of policymaking, etc., and why right to housing would be a survival strategy amidst the Republic's corrupt policies.
Okay, who are like the inhabitants in the galaxy?
There's a lot of inhabitants in the galaxy. I'm not going to list out every Star Wars species. If you've watched Star Wars, you know that's pretty impossible. One thing I'd like to forefront, though, is the Tong and Zell species. They were the indigenous people that lived in Coruscant. Our first evidence, and not our first evidence, the evidence of the plan isolates how homes are being desecrated and the Tong and Zell species are being pushed out of Coruscant. The affirmative would be able to recuperate that by giving them the right to housing. That's an example, but I'm not sure I'm supposed to list out every species in Star Wars.
Yeah, makes sense. Wait, so the Sugino 23 evidence, why does policymaking naturalize anti-blackness?
Yeah, there's a few arguments. So the first is that your topicality affirmative shell will be like, the resolution is necessary to make the affirmative predictable. You have to defend the plain text. They have to defend irony. Then the question becomes, why is that not predictable? And the reason is because it is a social norm. Fiat policymaking, etc., is a social norm. Fiat is not ingrained in the resolution. The resolution says United States for a reason. It does not say United States federal government, but you're going to read an argument that says it does. So Guino says that this is all part and parcel with racialized processes in which the topic selection in itself is informed by such, and the way that policy teams answer K teams with said wording is also racialized, and why we ought to divest away from models that promote that.
Okay. Let's see. Wait, what is it? What is a culture of survival as per the Noller-1 evidence?
Yeah, the Noller-1 evidence isolates that white people want coherence, moral coherence, unity of narration, etc. The affirmative is a way for cultures of survival for indigenous people, marginalized groups, etc., to reclaim their history, i.e. imagine histories outside of the ones that have been plotted in the present in order to form a break in the way empire reorients our stories.
Okay. It's 4.
Are you going advantage method, or are you going method advantage?
Probably like method, probably method.
Okay, cool.
Oh, actually, wait 1 second. Let me run a second. Okay, 27 years. Where is it?
Wait, I didn't catch what you said. Was it method and advantage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
I'm definitely gonna do it right now. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going over.
Elmer. Interpretation of the affirmative must disclose the plan to affirming in advance areas 30 minutes before the right to clarify disclosure can occur over a wiki or for massive violation, and I can send a screenshot if necessary. Vote next for prepping class, half quality, plan to disclosure, and description sheets on affirmatives. If F is inherent, it can easily defend by 20 minutes of research. It should lose the answer. All the 1 errors claimed about innovation with 30 minutes of preparation incentivized to find new strategic knowledge about afternoons and become a horrible inquiry and after can't check against the broader literature. Second off, interpretation and violation of the affirmative must only defend the United States ought to guarantee the right to housing and only garner offense from the hypothetical implementation of resolution they don't resolve means legislative action or to face determination by legislature shall apply law. Guaranteeing a right means the rights are illegally enshrined in the LSD law. Guarantees the promise included in the United States Constitution as an inalienable right cannot be taken away or violated due to process of law. United States, the federal government. McConnell 87, the term United States refers to the federal government by Constitution. Rights are always legal. They're defining an adjective, not a noun. Law. Indeed, rights exist to be recognized by law. Rights defined by capacity of one's asset and assistance to the state. Rights defined by the entitled to be prescribed by the other property unification of the world. Housing is voting for people to live in. Vote neg is fairness. Post facto topic adjustment structurally favors the app of manipulating the balance of corrupting, specializing in one area of literature for 4 years, which gives them a huge edge over the people switching topics every 2 months and locks in a predictable no set of monolithic criticisms that's susceptible to the permanent finishes and impact aids intrinsic good debates fundamentally games some level of competitive equity necessary to sustain the activity which would see the validity to participating B probability individual ballots candidates or to alter should be but even thinking alter long term clash over the season but they can rectify suits which means the only immediate impact of the ballot is fairness in deciding who wins the internal link to our impact are limited to topic prones in the region and game which was necessary to access all education fairness straight turns the atmosphere 11 laws the regularity difference between law and the game is necessity arbitrariness law is be valid or necessary regardless of the opinions of reference over beyond the immediate content contrary to the game character of the arbitrariness cannot be reasons why the function depend on law research regulation apply connection only must be arbitrary character subject to the individual cut the card at individual and TVA defend the whole act without the extra methodological offense, or defend the usage of the federal government to effect outside what's all the offense extra and offense improves the obfuscatable use competing into totality question of models of debate which they should have productively justify why a win reasonably links to our offense. They can't weigh the case. Lack of pre-round prep means truth claims are untested, which they should presume false. They're also weighing the case. They should be able to engage in the no impact and exclusion are inevitable because we have 45 minutes. So it's best to draw these exclusions upon the reciprocal lines to engage in the rule of the negative. Third off, counterplan the United States ought guarantee the right to housing if and only if tends to provide to where housing where polarized sunglasses. Wearing polarized sunglasses directly increases the risk of quantum events. That must outweigh every quantum event doubles the total value of the universe. 18 would the new rules arise quantum mechanical splitting of volume has approximately double more experience more splitting more world polarized sunglasses photon has to do quantum mechanical result splitting of the events go to the beach where 10 to the 18 photons reflecting into quantum events of passing not passing 2 to 10 to the 18 words per second air negative while finding devising against quantum nothing there's 15 ramification everything QM or S3 momentous intuition so natural like with the new the classical world multiverse for human brain strategy multiverse precisely our things probabilities that's bad no ways Patterson went to Altos destroys the subject as destructive an entity that are interviews the person objective evil and protection of life the expression of this value competes one right to housing must be universal health course between housing is organize the adequate housing component of how human right to housing society over I love living both organize the right to free of discrimination in housing the base of range gender disability status 2 guarantees return to Cambridge and D guarantee makes certain things happen for the Capital in the United States guaranteed the right to housing for settler Hawaiians in Hawaii increase migration to Hawaii directly increase native Hawaiian and homelessness the affirmative search to settler have the right to housing in Hawaii actively covers over indigenous demands it's for settlers stop moving Hawaii crystal 22 continental human buying homes in Hawaii serve 30% each person who owns the property drives the cost of living making it possible for natives to say the affirmative proposed affordable housing project would have to be on non-native Hawaiian land resulting from not safe no parts and period 22 years and calculate highway protecting where Maui 18 Highway opportunity plans 120 units for a state of the land be honest and calling land granted to American grant 1800s and more to where Hawaiians on the Hawaiian lands have critical to say you want to build housing to actually displace more Hawaiians in the process of building and throw the balance solution in addition to demands skip that. The Hawaiian Development Post affirmative directly denies the demands of indigenous communities. Guaranteed 19 development in Hawaii occurs on indigenous land. Economic displacement, particularly disposition of indigenous people, others displacement, connectability, displacement, so rural communities, cut the card, and rural communities case. The role of the values determine the apps a good idea. Anything else self-serving arbitrary begs the question of the rest of the debates. All their often since taking away the app value consequence of race C6 reducing confrontation ideological conscious laws the opponents so letting inquiry whether the first self referred to your policy or desirable with the framing debate for ideological terms opponents or by the continuation of vacuum meaning philosophy debate for this ideological agents activists hostilities even to resentment and science fiction is arbitrary. There's nothing that can be included. No percentage of science fiction that functions that constitutes a combination of science fiction, i.e. everything can be science fiction in the world of the affirmative. Second are the critique of truth telling destroyed global plotting truth commissions and protests across the global south relying on making public government lies in their process with the K politics foreclosure, zero-sum trade approach and ours coast visto and 14 truth bloody and instructional reality people creates outside of the television makes such a neutral community based on the people have the option of political practices and not only the words and habits and consumers who provide only limited involvement and concerned involvement is the person of Asian attorney who want contemporary world living to out their lives with far greater presence his assessment of current conditions knowledge and nihilism and 2 oversaturation and disengagement is not isolated and vague options are context specific and have material impact in spite of linguistic economy matters so other explanation disengagement that needs decisions to offer their services that has the lead set of expectations the government express society's need. Recent studies indicate that the changing of the proportion that gives the time social organizing their role to human protection, the interpretation of reality allows individuals to redesign the passive in imagining ways to advance world size and not improve the signifying over their historically producing circulating socio-historical contextualizing of the political media images, real orientations of political development and skip to the 5th card. Science fiction is a commodity. It's packaged and manipulated by profit-driven publishers. And Suvin, 1979, crucial emphasis on primary commodity, but culture enforces cliches and strict proportion of capital investment, strategic fake and strict times plus character preventative, full and lasting satisfaction from consumers, certain financial independence, and ideological content, subject to promotions, social status quo, both economically, and science fiction promotes colonialism and imperialism, reiterates the dominance of the West. So R, O2 colonizing imperial mission of science fiction is hard to miss space. The return of foreign hero Western thought has been constructed. Western thought is not constructed on aliens to define itself. Aliens is essentially fulfilling a moral purpose of reverse historical and cultural identity, which civilization refers again and again. Science fiction, Western experiences are universal and eternal. The world reduced to little more than exotic living consumption of the West, and the rise of housing, the toll of the empire, racial class, and imperial terrains are part of martial art, cartography, and imperial racial violence, causing the accusation to reconfigure the empires of these anyway. 1960s in order to focal point urbanizing spatial information of the infrastructure, architecture, operating racial dispossession, and displacement of cities goes in hand with the policies and practices, and the issues to realization to displace extend to production of neglect population, exploitation, disapprove American colonial logic for production surplus people in urban settings, urban regeneration programs represent the international actor of the empire. Cut the card at Empire, go back to the third card. Information is persuasive in the Phillips Robinson, over Botchard, basically confirming the idea that a mass rejected meaning is contradicting extensive evidence, meaning the everyday life research audience suggests a construction, meaning mass appreciating dominant cause of meaning, leaves it impossible for dominant audience in a meaningful way, with political problems or distance to social logic, things are communication, he never actually deduces this amount of change or just an inevitability of implosive catastrophe, room for human intervention, lack of alternative blunts, push or critical force and least conservative position, portraying manipulation of the media better than pursuing the truth. I can go back and finish the last card. Local government standing within the hierarchy resulting in urban governance, redevelopment, urban expansion, real estate speculation, radical.
Ready?
Yep.
Only thing I didn't read was 1 and C4, right?
Correct.
Okay. Status of the counterplans?
Conditional.
Okay, cool. The United States shall guarantee right to housing if and only if tenants provided housing wear Polaroid sunglasses. I guess, how are these Polaroid sunglasses provided to people? How do people afford them? How does the government provide them? What does that process look like?
Yeah, we would give them Polaroid sunglasses.
You just fiat that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the permutation. All right, cool. Right to housing must be universal to all. The counterplan provides the right to housing, F provides the right to housing. I'm confused why this is a competition argument.
Sorry, what?
Right to housing must be universal to all.
Oh, well.
Why is that a competition argument?
Okay, basically, like, people who refuse to, like, wear Polaroid sunglasses would not receive.
So everyone in the universe wouldn't die because some people would have Polaroid sunglasses in the world of the app. I'm really people who refuse to wear Polaroid sunglasses would die. Is the competition argument? So like some people wouldn't
die.
Just explain how the counterplan competes.
Sure. There's like multiple reasons. First is that right to housing is universal to all. The counterplan is not.
Actually, sorry. I just read your app. So let's talk about this. Polaroid sunglasses, a quantum mechanical event, results in a splitting of worlds. Correct. Go to the beach, wear them in the sun. 2 to the power of 10 to the power of 18 new worlds per second. Can you tell me how wearing quantum sunglasses creates 2 to the power of 10 to the power of 18 new worlds per second?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, the evidence talks about how when you wear a Polaroid sunglass, a photon enters the lens, so it creates 2 different worlds because either the photon fails to go through the lens or it bounces off the lens.
You're in a whole new world. That's fine.
The app isn't a whole new world.
It's a whole new world. All right. Okay. So new app's bad.
That's criminal that you would say that.
Is it really though? New app's bad. You flipped neg. I told you the app was you, and I gave you the plain text. Why is this abusive?
You didn't give me framework or advantage.
Why is that necessary?
Because we weren't able to adequately prepare for the.
You had 2 counterplans, framework, answers to science fiction. Why does that not?
That means I'm a good debater. Doesn't mean that that's a good norm.
Okay, that's fine.
And also, I could say these are probably pretty generic.
Okay, so framework. Is the text of the resolution what determines predictability?
Framework?
Yeah.
The second, right?
Yeah.
Is wait, are you saying like the text does not determine predictability because your text does not defend
Okay, why? Yeah. So why does the text of the
Yeah, sure.
resolution
So
not
we
determine
basically draw lines between how limits is governed and the concept. If there's infinite if the affirmative clearly explodes limits by saying that you can use science fiction and beyond that you can go beyond just the uses of the federal government, which we
go
would
beyond
say is
uses of federal government?
the stasis point.
Federal government. All right. Starting time now. read a card about how Baudrillard's critique of truth tests telling towards global politics. How does it link to the F?
Sorry. Sorry, could you repeat that?
How does the Baudrillard stuff link to the F in case?
So we basically say that like your affirmative, which says that like science fiction is necessary to like I don't know, like affect the world, or like that the method of storytelling is necessary, is a critique of truth telling, which is bad.
Storytelling is truth telling. Okay.
I mean,
wait, can you pause that really quick? Like my word is just glitching. One second. Oh, it's resume time now. Used. I will send the marker.
Is there a new dog?
Yeah, it's almost. There we go. It is. Case also. The sunglasses pick, there will be 3 theory interpretations. You can flow that however you'd like.
Word.
Okay.
Cool.
wait, sorry, you said opposite order, right?
That's right.
Wait, sorry, what was the order?
Yeah, case opposite order.
Case, okay.
Yeah. Alright.
I did 3.
Yeah.
Food agriculture right housing within the United States and the outer rim of the galaxy. That's key for the children and citizens left holes by the violence of the core of Senate to form national sociality for themselves. They say, but affirmative is a good idea. Sure, it is. I'm conceding it. The aviation is a good idea. They say there's no brown line for science fiction. It doesn't matter. Science fiction disrupts ordinary imaginaries. It doesn't matter if there's not a clear brown line between what Star Wars is and it isn't. The truth-telling critique. We don't critique truth-telling. We rather say that science fiction can offer a great and wide narratives. That's our knowledge. I'm just conceding that material impacts outweigh, but that is just uniqueness for our impact framework. Conceding that information is persuasive, but that is uniqueness for our impact because it proves that science fiction when you want to change minds and it can act as a form of propaganda. They say that science fiction is co-opted. Some degree of co-option is inevitable. That doesn't mean art is bad or politically unproductive. The act provides a spiritual energy to the masses amidst revolution. That's now their group, their empire, and colonialism turns about their right to housing. You should evaluate the affirmative as a project reformed and extended negative links to be attributed to our community protocol. The affirmative is a counter protocol to white forms of cultural control, which is a good idea, but frame this through uniqueness. Knowledge says that sci-fi narratives are inevitable, even if Star Wars and housing is perfect. Alt sees sci-fi and fascists and neocons, and housing is independently good because we're not saying that the right to housing is good for colonialist reasons, rather that the impact of the right to housing, i.e. the fact that it would give housing to millions of dispossessed people, especially indigenous species that have been left behind by colonialism, is a good thing against the balance of empire. Now, the US bad. They flipped net, which proves that every argument they have is not unique. They flipped net into the new app top level. We gave them the plans so they have to win to prove that our app is unpredictable, but that's obvious. If you're hitting a new app, encourages them to practically call like magnifiers, collaterally get the app maybe break new one innovation strategy benefit from breaking new encourages otherwise versus debaters to experiment with the literature, pushing the limits over the course of a season, outweighs or concerns a few rounds with the benefit of going deeper into lit. Affects every round, 2 verse policy, forcing them to be in the dark is good. That's literally the after every round, because they never said they want to see before the debate, they have a 1 to 2 not to redirect the debate compared to the more time, 3 critical thinking, hard debate, it's a good debate. Being able to quickly compile response to new sessions enables info processing. 4, even out-of-round violations are voting shit. There's no way to verify who's telling the truth without invading our privacy, which I didn't contend to, especially since the ones who didn't have a screenshot. Now, frame proper, we meet the Africans in the right to housing in the U.S. plain text in the vacuum, otherwise innovation would be extra topical alternatives create internet procedurals which mood self counter show the African independent right to housing in the Star Wars cinematic universe. The United States, and all the United States known as the Outland Union, a democratic government that controlled over 50 worlds in the outer rim, maintained its political economy, government, rapid continuous government led by President and Congress, government turns a science fiction to their model, excluding fictional worlds from their discussions of the topic proposals political potential and was seen Aller, and clearly state that political potential science fiction disrupts the white Western project philosophy by dreaming radical words aside of ordinaries of history. Our defense wants to nurse all the defense right to housing in reality with similar empirical trends of our world, econ, rights, political, how good, and see center, all linked, just do crap too. Brainers and central link already gone. The topic has tons of no co-chairs are racist. The fairness does not outweigh debate might be a game, but it's a research game, subjectivity matters, probability goes avenues of resources, fairness, coaching, views, etc. makes use inevitable, but your bell can't condemn. Go back Altos, it doesn't turn her out because it doesn't allow for science fiction. Exclusives are inevitable. Doesn't matter because our impact is about science fiction. True testing, we should get to it. And way the acronym T does it. Anything else goes slash and makes things want to see TV is wrong. It's either exclusive or this is not fair, or it's so close to the athlete you can debate 99% of it, but this is offense because it proves that frame requires a false performance of vulnerability. Now, the sunglasses pick condos which shoot the time crunch wonder can't be dispatched offense against multiple worlds with different unique conditions. They class was undercover which rests engagement, disposal all things capable of confirmed to get to test the we get strategic options like 20 contradictions and trade terms picks are big shoot. They seal app offense resources to meet the wonder change initial core literature towards march towards break the most desirable size of office and restoration reading as a DA. Solves content education with the pick artificially. If it's worth of bad negative conditions, picks are good. She seal the apples on arbitrary conditions. If it applies when you're in offense, especially given a sunglasses pick. Now, permutation to the counterplan contrast. Was complete offense text and functions, key to testing desirability, preventing me set of single words with zero process and artificial benefits with no opportunity cost either one alone. First incentive to right contrived solving errors that do test the case. If we would have heard that dismiss either that's good because it tries to remain as a negative can't solve. Not everyone has the resources to afford sunglasses, especially in the outer rim. If that's our app, you need to start understanding that sunglasses don't work, or the capital would not provide sunglasses for everyone, which is the affluent path. The affirmative outweighs the negative. The affirmative always the benefit because it concerns economic dispossession of trillions of citizens and files housing, salt, or benefit. It allows minorities to stay inside and not experience new worlds. There's no death benefit. Their evidence is it creates new worlds after they stay inside. The outcome outweighs on economic exploitation. The Hawaii peak pursues the capital crossed by the U.S. definition for Topicality. The U.S. is the outer rim, not the United States in Earth, which is what we defend, which means that the United States on Earth does not make sense. There's no competition argument, cross-flight competition from above.
Okay. order is like new apps bad, condo, pigs, conditions, and then T framework, and then case.
UFs, shells, framework, case.
Is there an overview anywhere that?
Yeah, on T framework.
Okay.
Give me one sec. Yeah, right.
Sorry,
Wait.
say that one more time.
So new apps bad, condo, picks, condition picks, and then the topicality stuff. Okay. Good. The new apps bad stuff around disclosure is not up to the debater. No disclosure is obviously a norm that is followed within debate. You concede that this is a norm that happens, and I'll concede that new apps are good, which means that at best this is drop the argument, not up to the debater. I didn't make the bond more valid because I did not insert a screenshot, which disproves disproves this interpretation, which means at best which means it just cannot be a two. In our conditionality, it's good. One key to check Netflix. They said the terms of the debate know the plan better than us. So multiple options ensure the neg doesn't auto lose after the 1 year. 2, experimentation. Lack of economies neg never experiment with new arguments result in stale debates where the neg reads the same position every round. 3, strategic thinking. Counter forces the 1 year to make time allocation and decision, and 2, and to sort through more layers when deciding where to collapse, and increases breadth of clash. Increases breadth of clash. Pick advantage camera. This side in case debates breadth outweighs portability. The Dispo doesn't solve a crypto incentive structure. We're asking monopoly over strategic value of counterplans, and by having flexibility to decide whether or not to violate the conditions. When their choices at the mercy of the 1 year, and it's arbitrary because the neg will choose self-serving condition to kick their advocacy with no stable basis. Picks, they're good. 1, testing pick architecture testing asked from different angles that was done above. Real world. 2, real world policymakers amend and include components of different bills all the time. It's optimal. If the optimal part of the plan included the part of the plan, it would pass that instead. 3, any skew is self-incurred. They choose the plan and could have been prepared to defend every single part of the 1 EC. They don't punish this for laziness. 4, cross-apply reasonability, and reject theory without the text of the interpret. Let them shift the 2 error with things like, well, conduct bad, but this is alright, which means large person of the 2 and doesn't give me a chance to respond and hold the line against all of the theories. So they're the shortest and blippiest and most kind of unwarranted arguments, and they'll automatically change from the 1 error to the 2 error, making it impossible for you to vote on a huge extrapolation from these shells. The read of the dissent argument, no picks are needed to deal with the entrenched status quo as well as understand different processes, and counterplans are a critical part of reciprocity, while dissent alone curate unfairness because the app will always get to say the case outweighs topicality. Topicality is a good norm to preserve because it maintains a stasis for disagreement, which prevents the app from being able to pick new and biased topic every single debate, which means the neg is unsure. They'll have to rejoin until they show up to the round. Maintaining the competitive value of debate is an impact and outweighs. First is an intrinsic good because debate has a fundamental telos of competition proven by the fact that we're at a tournament asking for ballots and are not clipping, maintaining speech times instead of attending academic conference. We do these things because games only work when everyone knows the win conditions. Accepting the app gets to do anything means the debate can collapse to the 1 EC. Just getting up and saying the winner is taller, faster, or a better dressed person, or in this case, just say that science fiction affirms, and regardless of what you think is valuable in debate, ask yourself, ask why you prepare and ask to win instead of asking the judge to flip the point. Second is their arguments about fairness are not mattering or in bad faith. The argument about how kind of fairness skews are inevitable is just not unique or it's just not true and we'll call their bluff because why else you go for dropped arguments in the 1 year instead of the ones that promise deep clash? If they don't care about games having predictable weight conditions, then add a new rule that only I can win. And any answer to this argument proves that they also care about the value and concede the authority of any competitive equity. 3, it strengthens any negative impact because channeling competitive incentives into deep clash for fine scholarship. But I'll extend the Bjerg evidence because T as a rule of the game may resemble their criticism. Or actually, I'll extend the Bjerg evidence because you should. I'm not going to extend the Bjerg evidence. I'm just going to go to the definitions debate. The resolve, their definition of the United States, first of all, is not the most predictable, which is proven by our definition of the United States as a federal government, which doesn't intend to exclude because it specifically differentiates the United States from the usage of the states, and it differentiates the United States of America, and America refers to the continent, and the states are within the United States of America, which none of these things are within their evidence. Sure, they define the United States, but they cannot define the subcomponents that our evidence also decides. Second is they conceded that resolve means a legislative policy. They have not counter-defined this, and they do not lead to a legislative policy, which is also conceded because they do not lead to a legislative policy that is passed by the same federal government. So even if they do lead to a legislative policy, it is not by the same extent that is defined by our definitions, and they've conceded the LSD law argument, which is distinct because it says that guaranteeing a right must mean that those rights are legally enshrined within the United States Constitution, which is not even mentioned in the 1AR. This is a quote from the evidence, which means that this should be an easy, which means that the legal precision argument should just be an easy a non-starter for the 2AR. There's no chance that they get any legal precision, which links to all of our predictability offense, and means that their interpretation is simply just unfair. And since fairness is considered a debate as an activity, and they've conceded that debate is a game, we should just be able to win on this. The caseless argument, one, doesn't solve because you know your lit base way better than since you get 4 years while we switch topics every 2 months and we're pigeonholed into a couple of generic Ks that you can frontline the hell out of. Second, doesn't solve because topical affirmatives can spike out of bulletin links but can't reframe the app to link less the case which they've already lost to, which means that we can revise their app to avoid linking because it's not backed by stable mechanism. And three, error heavily negative, they have a strategic incentive to claim that there was concessionary ground, but going into that ground, we can't just assume that they'll grant us links to everything, which makes prevent possible when there's just no stasis point. The reasonability stuff, we are winning that reasonability links back to our offense because there's no way this is reasonably topical, especially when we're winning that precision is key, and the skews inevitable offense was, the skews inevitable stuff was done above. Fairness is not already gone because they have not crossed the because there are obviously core generics that are not racist, they have not actually indicted any of the generics that we've actually read in this 1NC as to be racist, and they've also conceded that they indicted affirmative to some level, even if the permutations are true, which means that these generics are not racist and still can disprove their model, and fairness obviously outweighs, which was done above, exclusion inevitable was done above. Go to case. The negative completely concedes that the form is specifically violent because of the Stardart 02 evidence which says that science fiction promotes colonialism and imperialism. Sure, they have answered that housing does not contribute to the empire, but they have not answered that their specific methodological offense about science fiction promotes to colonialism and imperialism because of the pure thought that Western experience is kind of projected into this universal explosion and is seen through TV, where all of these bases are based on the Western imperialism and Western experience. So it means that this is a necessity. The evidence literally name drops Star Wars because it says, quote unquote, from Star Wars, which disproves the entirety of the affirmative.
Starts now.
United States and the outer rim of the galaxy that's keeping their journalistic citizens less hopeless by the violence of the corrupt Senate. They dropped their unique experiment on sci-fi colonialism. Nadler says that sci-fi and narratives are inevitable, even if Star Wars isn't perfect. The alternative to sci-fi sees sci-fi to fascists and neocons. The act disrupts narratives of empire that are whitewashed. Look, you should read it from it. We literally critique empire and the republic as being neo-colonialist. Goals of the empire, we are not verifying empire, we are critiquing it. This is the entire point of Star Wars. It is an allegory for the Vietnam War, and George Lucas is critiquing empire. Argument is that sci-fi is inevitable, which means that the affirmative destruction of such is good. Either way, the case outweighs. We're conceding that positive concept of the planned matter, which means that the case outweighs the aftermath trillions of citizens from being left homeless. The topicality. Our counter-interpretation is that the Afghan defender right to housing in the Star Wars cinematic universe here is a frame issue. Our interpretation does not prohibit multi-acts, but theirs prohibits sci-fi acts, because they said it has to occur inside this reality, i.e. with this government, that means we should have a much higher threshold for their offense, because we still allow for the generics that they want to, any tiny risk of our sci-fi good and benefit, because if you would act, even if they win fairness outweighs in a vacuum, if you win the counter solves for the vast majority of it, then you should assign a much higher risk to our impasse. Judge instruction, arbitrary exclusions are always worse than arbitrary inclusions, and key to recenter debates around substance and encourage the meaningful clash of non-traditional purposes, especially because the scope of the colonialism impact of the sci-fi good. Now, science fiction is good. This is a benefit that only our counter has assisted to frame the interp as excluding fictional worlds. Our argument is that their model for closest sci-fi's political potential. One to see Nadler and totally see that reclaiming Star Wars is able to disrupt the white Western culture philosophy by dreaming of radical worlds outside of colonialist order narratives of history. Star Wars specifically is key to imagine new worlds outside the current state apparatus and embrace it. Able to set our structure of the present and allows us to realize that these present structures are not inevitable, which reshapes the boundaries of possibility and allows us to plot away out of the present. Think of how Star Wars itself is an allegory for the Vietnam War that problematizes the U.S. as an imperial force of the prequel to this trilogy, being about globalization and the war on terror. If you didn't know that before this debate, that proves our unique experiment about how media literacy is in the gutter right now, which is the key educational office that only our model accesses and embraces the risk of our impact exponentially. That outweighs momentary loss of awareness. The tuner was bad at impact outflows, colonialism, entrenches violent ideologies, and trains us all in the language of future fascist. Fairness is an internal link, not an impact, because it begs the question of the debate that a fair game produces. We impact during the telos of the game. It serves to entrench violent models without. Now, extend 1 year one, they conceded a crucial piece of defense, which is that generic solve. Every AF card indicates that Star Wars is not a detached, faraway universe, but rather intimately connected to our own reality. The point of the AF is that Star Wars is an allegory for American imperialism, and the right to housing is key to survive that dispossession. The tuners whining about how fairness outweighs, etc., is evidence of sloppy crap. Not that the AF is on the table. As you saw, what position did he lose? The tuner did not give you a case list. They can still read the Econ 8 and say that building trillions of houses will collapse the economy. They can argue the US and Star Wars. They connected to the US and ours and read any DA to that, or even a right spill over DA. Does that guarantee the right to housing spills over to other destructive rights? The tuner said that different realities move to offense. This is actually offense for us because it forces them to creatively apply normative policy research strategies to science fiction, which just supercharges science fiction. Good evidence commentary arguments are new. This just means that there ought to be a system for debate. We agree the counter provides those debates and they're better quality. Fairness is internal link was not above. They say we can refine scholarship. We can't resign the act because Star Wars is good. Their interpretation can't access science fiction because it confines us to earthly imaginations, i.e. the government debate is game dropped as a research kit. Our ways.